Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited, we are on the record.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarina Fazan, and thank you so much for joining us for this episode of On the Record. You know, we love highlighting the good in the community, and what better to talk about than setting up our children for success. Two wonderful, amazing people in the studio today. We have Nancy Leach and Terry Cisco of Chamberlain High School, part of a great organization, the Chamberlain Legacy Alliance. So guys, welcome to On the Record.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Oh,
us.
absolutely.
This is fun.
Okay, so even before we get started, what do you think of the studio? You guys are the first guests with our new lights.
This is
beautiful.
beautiful. It's amazing. And to be here with you is like a dream.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even pay them to say that. That's the sweetest thing on the planet. Terry, thank you, my gosh. Thank you so much for doing that. And saying that, I mean, my gosh, my dream is, of course, I've always been to do my own show, and I'm so appreciative of CP Communications and Red House Streaming, and so excited to have you guys in again. And this is a day in history because it really is launching our new studio.
Well, it's beautiful that you support the community this way, too.
Oh, thank you.
We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. I mean, we take such pride in that. So speaking of that, let's talk about Chamberlain High School. And Terry, we can start with you.
Sure.
About what's happening there.
Well, Chamberlain has an amazing alumni base. But as Tampa grew out, the school became more and more of an inner city school. In fact, today, Chamberlain is the poorest school in Hillsborough County, and it became the second worst performing school in the state. And so what happened, I have a business, but I don't work real hard at it. I'm not swinging for the fences anymore, so to speak. And so my wife and I have some bandwidth of time that we can invest. And it hit us that we are one vote. I can't change the country. I can't change the state, but I can sure as heck clean up my backyard. Oh. And so we started All Pro Dad at one of the elementary schools.
And Tony Dungy's a huge fan of his.
Yeah, it's all about getting dads back engaged with their students. And the principal said, Terry, there are no dads. I said, well, this isn't the Immaculate Conception. There are dads. And so we had the first All Pro Dad meeting. And the principal walked in, the media center was standing room only, and she just burst into tears. Well, then another principal heard what we had done. She said, can you do that at my school too? Well, within a year, we had 17 elementary schools doing All Pro Dad. But then I'm looking at the high school thinking, you know, we've really got to impact the high school. So I couldn't get in to meet with the principal. So Cindy Stewart, who was a school board member at the time, she's now the clerk of the circuit court.
Yes, she certainly is. I saw her not too long ago.
She's fabulous. And so Cindy made sure I was with the principal the next day. And so it just blew up from there. And so we started the nonprofit called Chamberlain High School Legacy Alliance. It's a 501c3 because the intent is to get this powerful alumni base to stand in the gap where parents used to be.
And let me talk a little bit about that because Nancy.
Yes.
Whoa, when we talk about some heavy hitters coming out of Chamberlain High School, so, you know, it's surprising to learn, right? Like, tell us about some of the people that have come out of Chamberlain High School.
We've had celebrities, we've had sports stars, we have the mayor of Tampa, Jane Castor, graduated in the late 70s. We have the president, Rhea Law of University of South Florida, was a Chamberlain graduate.
U.S. Representative Kathy Castor is
Kathy
also a graduate.
Castor.
And I'm sorry, Brad Holmes, maybe? Does that name sound a little bit familiar? Detroit Lions?
Yes.
Class of 97.
Class of 87, and he's been a great supporter of Chamberlain. He is the general manager of the Detroit Lions, and the Lions have been a great supporter of us. And we are celebrating him at homecoming this year because we're naming the brand new press box after him.
That's wonderful, and the Detroit Lions did give $20,000. Isn't that correct?
That's right.
But just talking about and you're a graduate of Chamberlain.
I did. I graduated in 1980, and I have a great experience there and had kept a lot of contacts at Chamberlain, and so I have a background in media, so I went and started a Facebook page, and we've grown to almost over 3,000 followers right now, and been connecting all of these powerful alumni that we've had, channeling them and having them support our organization.
So, Terry, talking about supporting the organization, tell us how the two of you connected, because you didn't go to Chamberlain, but your daughter graduated from there.
So what happened was I transferred to the University of South Florida from a school in upstate New York. And my wife graduated a year ahead of me. She's really smart. And,
yes, we want them on Love in America too. They've been married for how many years now? 50?
Seems like 51. But so we became the youth directors at our church, and we had a whole bunch of juvenile delinquents that were the kids there, and Nancy was one of them. They were juvenile delinquents. So we've known Nancy for 50 years, and her cousin is also on our board. He was the director of community relations for TICO. And so having all of these powerful alumni pouring in to the school has just been spectacular. And if I had to hire somebody, I could never have found somebody as competent or as talented as what Nancy's been doing for the alumni.
And so what have you guys been doing? I think this is wonderful. Like the Chamberlain Legacy Alliance really has 3 prongs, right? Well, I know there's many things that you do, but for trade, military,
one of our main initiatives is called Dream Catchers. And what we do is we're finding that these kids are getting into their senior year and really not having a lot of direction. A lot of them don't have direction at home. That's helping to push them to a pathway of prosperity. So what we did, we set up this program called Dream Catchers, where we have them, as they come into school, choose a pathway. And the pathway can change, but they can either choose to go into a college path, into a military path, or a trade path. So everyone has an opportunity to go where they need to go.
And what their passion is.
Exactly. So a lot of kids didn't think, oh, I can't go to college. My family never went to college. How will we ever afford it? Well, we have Veritas College Counseling, Vera Murphy Trainer, who comes in every Thursday pro bono to work with these kids and show them that they can get a scholarship and they can go to community college for basically no cost if they fill out their proper paperwork. So a lot of kids are going on to a community college that they didn't know they could, or even to college. Military, we have a very strong ROTC in place right now, and a lot of kids find their path through military, which is a great option for a lot of these, a very stable future for a lot of these kids. And then we have a trade path where we've worked with one other Chamberlain graduate, Steve Kona, who is the president of
Associated Builders and Contractors.
I always call him ABC, and I'm like, I don't know, what is it? And so he comes, and we have a trade fair every year before graduation where all these construction companies and others, we've had civil servants come in as well, and they set up a booth where these kids can come, and they will hire them right after they graduate from school, because as we all know, people are looking for employees right now.
Especially right now, right. And so let me ask you guys, this alliance, how unique is it? Because, our show, thankfully, I mean, we have viewers worldwide now, but I know this is happening in Tampa, but how unique is this alliance?
Yeah, it's a good question. I get calls weekly from area principals saying, can you help us start what you're doing at Chamberlain at our school? The principal at Leto High School, and Cindy Stewart graduated from Leto, as well as the Director of Development for Junior Achievement, Leto grad. Well, you've got to find the spark. You've got to find somebody that's going to act as the catalyst, pull people together, and then the whole thing explodes. I mean, we've got the pattern down. It's easy. You find somebody who's great at marketing to share the story, get all the alumni together, and then do the asks for whatever you need. We actually started, I think, our first ask was the football team had no footballs. And so we...
so that was the first, I'm sorry, I was just like, wow,
yeah.
The football team did not have any footballs.
No.
They didn't have footballs, and that's what we're finding is a lot of these students just need the opportunity. They might want to play a sport, but they don't have the shoes. The county provides them with a uniform, but not shoes, for instance. Or the medical clearance that they need to have, the $35 clearance is a lot of money for some of these families. So what we do is make sure that no matter what opportunity they want to have, they have that opportunity in high school. So we needed footballs for the team, and one of our alumni, the Adcock family, stepped forward and came up with nets and nets full of footballs for the whole team.
That is, we live in such a wonderful community, and people will come to the plate.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of asking.
They don't know.
So how do you ask? How do you approach people? And
Well, I'm
ask
going to
them?
answer that for Nancy. So this is a little trick.
Okay. You're learning a trick here on the record, everybody.
Nancy engages the alumni. She has literally digitized every picture in every yearbook from 1958 to this year.
You go, girl.
Thank you.
I have no clue.
1956 is a significant year because that's when Chamberlain High School opened its doors, first graduating class, 1958.
That's right.
And so what Nancy does is she puts pictures of, let's say, the football team. And it gets everybody starting conversations about, oh, I remember, and it was the best time of my life. And we do that for a few posts. And then Nancy will say, by the way, we need footballs.
I love it. I love it.
And the truth is, the alumni have a very great passion for the school.
Yeah.
And they want to give back, but they didn't even know they needed to. A lot of them have left the market, or they live here and they're just not connected with the high school anymore. So once they learn that 80-something% of the students are on free lunch,
80%. Wow.
it's probably almost 90.
Yeah, it's. I think it's actually about 95.
95%.
Yeah, it's
Our
gone
free
up.
reduced lunch.
So they don't understand that, but once they learn that, they want to step in and help. And that's how we get the help. It might be the cheerleaders want to start a competition team, and they need different costumes for that, or uniforms for that. The former cheerleaders will step up and say, I was a cheerleader, it was the best years of my life, I'd love to give money towards that.
Well, we're going to continue talking about this. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. So stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Precision Garage Store, this is Sophia. How may I help you?
It's the people who work here that make the difference.
That's what we're all here for, teamwork, right?
Exactly, yeah.
That's why we're here for you today.
With one purpose,
If you need us, Precision is here for you.
to give their best to our customers.
We put out love and we get like 10 times back.
You get it coming back too.
Yeah.
We work for you. So thank you, Tampa Bay, for year after year making Precision Garage Door a top workplace.
I'm Sarina Fazan, a journalist, producer, and podcast host. With a background in television news, I know how much time and talent it takes to produce a broadcast quality production. But no more. Red House Streaming offers a simple, cost-effective method for capturing live action and streaming it in real time to YouTube, Facebook, or any other website. From single camera shoots or multi-camera productions, conventional or virtual sets, and from the state-of-the-art Red House Streaming Studios to remote locations, the professional crew at Red House Streaming, backed by the technology and reputation of CP Communications, allows you to produce more content at a lower cost and with little to no engineering required. That's why my podcast, On the Record with Sarina Fazan, is streamed live from the Red House Streaming Studios each week. Contact Red House Streaming today at 800-762-4254 or online at cpcoms.com to learn more. I'll see you in the studio.
LabelSwap is a retail store that you can bring in the items you don't want anymore. We will buy them for either a cash offer or store credit, and you can also shop the items as well. We carry anything from H&M, Lululemon, up to your luxury items like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. There's nothing really around like it here in the market. It is a fun, personalized experience.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to On the Record. What a great topic today. We are talking about building up our students with two amazing leaders, Terry Cisco, Nancy Leach. Welcome back to the show, Chamberlain Legacy Alliance. So during the break, the show is unedited, unscripted. That's why we love it. It's a conversation. Terry said, okay, Sarina, I want to share a story when we come back. So Have at it.
Okay. So one of the things that my wife and I have been doing, because the kids have no transportation, they don't participate in sports. They have no way to get home after school.
Oh.
So my wife and I would volunteer, would spend an hour getting the kids home. And of course, we had to drive through McDonald's and everything else because they're always hungry.
Of course.
But one of the kids that we really got very close to is a kid by the name of Anthony Guzman. Anthony's mother brought him to the U.S. when he was in elementary school. He went to Cleveland Elementary, Adams Middle School, and then Chamberlain. Anthony's mother doesn't speak English. His father was still in the Dominican, so he really didn't see his father except for maybe 1 or 2 times a year. They lived in the Tampa Housing Authority housing, very poor family. And so Anthony's just a great kid. Mm-hmm. He became one of the top running backs in Hillsborough County schools, football, and very coachable. So my son-in-law is the president of a bank up in Nashville. Mm-hmm. So one of his clients wanted to open a branch in Tampa. So he called up and said, "Dad, do you have any kids?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I've got a couple of kids." So Anthony graduated a year ago this year.
Okay.
So last year. And we got him a job. He started at $40,000 a year. He showed up on time. He did a great job, didn't take breaks, just worked straight through. The customers loved what he was doing. Mm-hmm. So the company gave him a raise, and he's now making 1 year out of high school, $50,000 a year. He sent me a screenshot of his Roth IRA. He has $32,000, 1 year out of high school, $32,000 in his Roth IRA. He has $1,000 in his reserve account. He has an investment account, and he ordered a new Tesla.
Oh my gosh, what a great story and inspiring story.
He canceled the order because he figured, why do I want to, lose the value? Mm-hmm. I'd rather buy a house.
Isn't that something? And you know what? It all started with a ride.
Yep,
to the games.
A lot of these kids, if you just tell them that you believe in them and show them that there's a world outside of their bubble that they feel like sometimes they're trapped in, that opportunities are endless. And that Anthony's and he's come back and talked to the students about his journey and letting them know that there's a way out and there's a way beyond and that they can succeed in life. And there is a pathway to prosperity.
Isn't that something? Because when it boils down to it, it's true. They're children.
They are.
And they're kids. They just need some guidance. And that guidance, and again, even a ride to a game, can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Our objective, we really haven't stated it clearly to you on this show, but our objective is really to break the generational cycle of poverty by maximizing the lifelong earning potential of every student. So the school's job is to get them to walk across the stage at graduation. Our job is to use that education to maximize their earning potential.
Well, I'm so glad that you had a chance then to share that. And we talked about earlier in the show, if you're joining us later, how many rock stars really also have come out of Chamberlain, including Tampa Mayor Jane Castor. We have Brad Holmes with the Detroit Lions, U.S. Representative Kathy Castor. We have the president of USF.
County Commissioner.
Mm-hmm. We have so many, and the school right now needs some help.
It does.
So speaking of Chamberlain, and we've got to talk about it, right? Because Chamberlain has also been in the news a lot because of the mascot and the Chiefs.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I felt like, we love talking about all the positive and everything, but it's been in the news. What is your take on that, or what would you like to share about that? I'm giving you, and we're opening up the conversation here on the record.
Right. Go ahead, Terry.
Well, I didn't go to Chamberlain, so I don't have a dog in the hunt, so to speak. So the kids at Chamberlain today, it's a very ethnically diverse population, and the kids all get along. It's what I would love to see happen across this country. If you see a fight in the news at Chamberlain, of course it gets airtime, but it's a boy fighting over a girl. It's never a cross-cultural thing. And so the kids are very, very sensitive to anybody else's culture being diminished or devalued. And so the students said, yeah, we're okay losing to Chiefs. The students did.
Wow, isn't that something, the students?
It really is. But on the other side, we understand the alumni, it's part of their heart, their heart and soul, they're Chiefs. And so we try to weigh the balance. Now, the great news is that our Native American friends shared with us that the alumni can always be the Chiefs. They can always keep the Chief mascot, but moving forward is where the change will occur. So a Chief, once a Chief, always a Chief. And now we're going to figure out what comes next.
See, but that is so wonderful. What a great compromise. And talk to us about this. It was so interesting that there's actually a consultant, right, out of Minneapolis. Nancy, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Right. The school has looked to hire someone that's third party, that's not on the school board, that's not part of the school, not part of the alumni, to come in and not make decisions, but to help facilitate what will happen next. So once the students return this fall to school, he will conduct some ideas and talk to them about what does the school represent to them, and either come up with a new mascot. They could even keep the name Chief, but not make it a Native American Chief. So they've got a lot of things to discuss, and he's going to just help format the process that will happen after that. It's not to any cost. It's not costing any taxpayer money, which I know a lot of people were concerned about. But it's part of, actually he's hired by a company,
Justin's
that makes class rings and those types of things that kids order once they graduate.
Okay, so that's so interesting, because I know, of course, people are like, oh, is this taxpayer money involved? So how did the ring company get involved? And have they, because I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, this guy does, this is happening all over the country. It's not just at Chamberlain, and of course there's the East Bay Indians that's still under controversy, but this is happening in every state. And if you can look at, on our website even, we have a hashtag or /mascot that you can look up and see the feelings of all the different Native American groups, because we're trying to show both sides of the issue on our website. But he has gone to different schools, and even if they're not a Native American or a racial issue, it could just be a school that has the Rams, or like, what's a Ram? And, what does that do? And so he goes and helps them with their identity and come up with things that make people feel invested in their school.
How did you guys meet him or know him, or did he reach out? Did he reach out to Chamberlain?
He did.
Yeah, the school principal, and he connected.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Well, so let's go back to the Alliance. How do people get involved? And maybe they didn't even go to Chamberlain, but they're watching the show and they think, oh gosh, we want to help the children. So how would they get involved? What is the best way?
Come to our website, which hopefully will be at the bottom of the screen, and you can see all of the current projects we have, all the past projects we've had, and a lot of times we'll just do asks. There's also, you can go to chamberlainlegacy.com/donate and donate towards us, towards a lot of these programs that we have. We have outside consultants that come in and help with the kids. We could use tutors, people that will want to work one-on-one with a kid as a mentor. We've got a lot of different opportunities.
And talk about some, because you sent us some great photos, right? And the crew is like, oh my gosh, they have to talk about the llamas on the show.
Right. What we'll do, if we have a teacher that has a specific ask or a program that we talked about the footballs already, trying to get that. One example was our agriculture program. The agriculture teacher was concerned. It was the middle of the summer and these animals were getting super hot. It feels like it's just getting hotter and hotter outside. I don't know if that's...
I know, believe me, I know, it's like what's going on with the climate.
So we did a fundraiser and asked the alumni to donate towards fans, and we bought a bunch of fans that each animal, we had our llamas and our goats and pigs and everybody, the cows, all got their own fan to blow on them during the day to help with the heat.
That's wonderful.
So that's one of the crazy things that we've done. But people bought into it, and the alumni jumped right in. And usually, if we have an ask by the end of the day, we've got the problem solved.
Isn't that something?
It's beautiful.
And you know, we have to bring this back to you, Terry, as we wind up the show. Oh my gosh, it just shows that a community member, someone in the community, can make such a huge difference and impact. You're so humble. You talked about at the very beginning, you had a career and you had some time on your hands, right? So what would your message be? What would your ask?
Get off of Facebook complaining about what's wrong and get into the public school. Just find one student to make a difference in their life. Oh my gosh, one person can make a huge change. And that person might be watching right now.
And I hope they are.
Yeah, a generational change. It's just amazing. And we can literally see it happening every day when we walk into school. And the kids come up and they want to shake Terry's hand, and he'll sit with them.
An old white guy.
Well, it's priceless, right? It's a priceless gift.
But just have an adult say you're worth something.
I literally break into tears. Father's Day, I got messages from some of these kids saying Happy Father's Day.
Gosh.
Because you are the only dad in their life.
Isn't that something? Well, I have to say, on this show, I take great pride, as you know, in sharing powerful, positive messages. But we also share what the community wants to hear. So the two of you are on the show because we got a request to have a show on your organization, the Chamberlain Legacy Alliance.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Terry Cisco, Nancy Leach, thank you so much for being here. And on that note, so if you would like to send us a topic idea or you want to be on the show, please do that at info@redhousestreaming.com. We'd love to hear from you. Please share the shows on all our social media channels and spread the message. And also remember, we're also on Roku. All you need to do is search my name. It's a free channel, and we would so appreciate it if you downloaded it. Back here on the set again, Nancy Leach, Terry Cisco, thank you so much for being here on the show. And now maybe you guys can recommend somebody.
Absolutely.
That would be wonderful. Thanks so much again for watching, everybody. Stay safe and have a great week.